Hello everybody, it's Michelle here again for Scrappy Chic, and today's demo is a technique, a background technique using Distress Oxides. I love the oxides because they blend really awesome, but this is a fun technique where you kind of smear the ink on your craft mat and add water. But look at this one on black paper. Awesome, right? So this one has a little gesso, and I'll show you how that works. And then these are just the oxides on the mixed media paper and on the watercolor paper. So I am going to show you how you get these awesome techniques. We'll start with the black one first. So what you want to do is, on your craft sheet, take some white gesso, and I am using Dina Wakley's white gesso. It's a brand new one, so I'm just going to take a little out of the lid here, and I am going to put some on my craft mat. Very precise, like that. And then I'm going to spray some water, and I am going to just mix it around with my finger, kind of move it around a little bit. All right, so then you can see it beading up like that. And then I am going to take some black cardstock. I use a little bit thicker. The regular cardstock tends to buckle a little bit, but I'm just going to lay it in the gesso like that, and you're going to get this on your paper. So in between each of these layers, you have to dry. So I'm just taking my heat gun and quickly drying this. Shouldn't take too long, just gesso and water here. So we'll dry it really quickly. And then the color combination that I used was Broken China, Cracked Pistachio, and Worn Lipstick. I wanted to use crushed grape, but I don't have that oxide because I thought it would be a really awesome galaxy, although the worn lipstick looks really good. So if you painted some stars on there or did some white splatters, wouldn't that be an awesome galaxy background? All right, so take that, and I'll just bend it the opposite way a little bit so that it's flat. So the first color I will use is the Broken China. So you just want to smear some on your mat. Again, very precise. Put some water, same thing, and kind of roll it around with your finger so you get those bigger beads. And then again, same thing, lay it right in there. All right, and see, that's what it looks like when it's wet. So we're going to give that a dry. And you could obviously do a bunch at a time. When I was experimenting, I did 5 sheets just from that little bit of ink and water that I sprayed. So you could do a lot of backgrounds at once. I am going to combine 3 colors. So that was the Broken China. Next, I'm trying to multitask, so dry and ink. Next, we'll use the Cracked Pistachio. Whoopsie. All right, we're just moving it around like that. All right, see, that's what it looks like with the gesso and the blue dried on there. And now we're just going to, again, lay it down in that poodle that we made. Ooh, this one's got a lot. Let's tap a little of that off. All right, so the green Cracked Pistachio really shows up nicely. And if you wanted to, after you did each layer and you wanted more of one color, you could absolutely do another layer of a color that you've already used. So now we've got Worn Lipstick. Kind of feel like I'm finger painting. here's what the layer with the blue and the green looks like. It's just so pretty on that black, isn't it? And we'll lay it right down in the worn lipstick. Ooh, awesome. We'll give that a dry. And I will show you what that one looks like in just a moment. I'm going to even splatter some picket fence spray on that one that I already did, so you can kind of see what it looks like with some white on it. But I want to show you how this pink dries on here, the worn lipstick. It is so pretty. Alright, look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous background? Alright, let me show you what it looks like when you... I gotta roll it out so it's flat. Splatter some white on there. And then, of course, you want to let that dry so it doesn't run. But isn't that awesome? I love it. And then you could actually draw some stars on there or do some smaller splatters. It would be so great. So that is the Distress Oxides on the black paper. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so now we are going to use the watercolor paper. So just a piece of the Ranger watercolor paper. And we are going to use peeled paint, broken china, and walnut stain. And this time we're going to put them all down at the same time. And you want to go with your darkest color last so that you don't really get any color contamination on your ink pads. You don't want to smear this one around too much. All right, but you do want to get some movement. Okay. And you're just going to lay that in there like so and pull it up. Oh, let's dry that a little bit, and then we'll add a little bit more water and we'll mix it up a little bit because we'll do another go as soon as this is dry. All right, so see, isn't that pretty? So we'll give it another quick one here. Oh. So pretty, these colors. All right, so that's what it looks like on the watercolor paper. Give me just a second. I'm gonna dry it a little bit more and then I'll show you. Little dabs, awesome. Isn't that pretty? So if you used a little bit more water, you would get a little bit more of a blend, but I really like these watermarks that the oxides provide. So you can see on these ones that I did before, I used a lot more water. So that is what you would get with that compared to this. So that would be the difference of adding a little water and a lot of water. Okay, let's try the cracked pistachio instead of the peeled paint with this. Mix it up a little. Of course, broken china is one of my faves. And then a little walnut stain. Put a little bit more water this time so you can see the difference. And let's see what kind of effect we get if we don't smear it around with our finger. This is the mixed media cardstock. So we'll just do that. Oh, see how that blends together? So what we'll do is we'll give that a dry. We'll get rid of that blob right there. And I'll show you that you can add some of those watermark spots on top of your blended background like this. Oops. Oh, dang it. All right, we can still do it. We can still do it. Throwing things around. Okay. So then you can just take your, see how your page is when it's really blended like that? It's still beautiful. And then just dab it like that. Kind of dab it around a little bit. And then Give it a dry. And honestly, you can keep going until you had it exactly the way that you liked it. Of course, I like it all these ways. Distress and the vintage look that it gives you really is just my all-time fave. So I would want a little bit more of the walnut stain, so I'm just going to put a little bit more. Some water, and then I'm going to dab it like that. Oh. So that is a really quick technique that you can use for backgrounds with Distress Oxide inks and water on different paper. The one on black paper I absolutely love, and you can see it just is really pretty. Perfect galaxy background. I have a stamp that's an astronaut that I think would be perfect on that background. And then you can see this one when we did the layers. Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, so there you go. Distress Oxide inks, water, and I used my Distress sprayer. Mixed media cardstock, watercolor cardstock. You could use a black tag. I did this one on a tag when I was experimenting. And then this is the Picket Fence spray stain to do the splattering. I used the Dina Wakley white gesso and the ink blender to apply the gesso to my craft mat, and away I went. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you soon.